Hello, good morning. Manawatu's Classic Hits 97.8 with Rich and Kate. We put people in the draw for ages for a braces package from the team at Courtney Orthodontics on Elmira, and it took a long time to get all through all the entries and find a winner. But the team at Courtney Orthodontics did find a winner.
So I'm thinking of starting my own band just when I thought the Chris Harris and our first single is going to be
Tēnā tātou tātoa, e tipi aki ahau, e raro o korowai aroha tanaki. Ko wai totora te awa, ane e mātou taonga, tō Ngāti Pakeha, te iwi, tō Richard Ahau. Whānau, what you just heard was me 12 years ago when I was on the wireless, followed up by me in the aftermath of having half my tongue lopped out due to cancer. Here I stand before you, 10 years down the track, slightly muddy sounding, little bit of a lisp, but clearly still very handsome. But that is only part of my hikoi. For inside of me is a 73-year-old Wahine's kidney. It has been in me almost as long as it was in her. So when life throws you curveballs, how do you respond? Do you stand there and strike out? Or do you swing? Because even if you swing and miss, you are still swinging. I made the choice to consistently swing. So how do you build resilience in a world that is so quick to spoon feed us? For me, I think it's hardwired. I don't know if it's genetic. I don't know if it's the fact I grew up on a farm. Maybe it's the fact that I've been in the medical hamster's wheel since I arrived on this planet. 1977, I am unleashed on the world. 6 weeks premature. I survive. My twin brother does not. I often wondered why I was so small in stature. Like I kind of figured that my parents didn't put enough effort in when they were making me. Turns out, slightly misguided. 13 years old at boarding school in New Plymouth, I am told I have nephritis and renal hyperplasia. In English, Richard, your kidneys are shagged. You're going to need a kidney transplant. Pretty big deal. Pretty big thing to hear at 13 years of age. I feel sorry for my mum, who had to drop me back at school and then drive home to Waverley, knowing she'd left her son there trying to figure it out. So I entered the world of special diets, where I managed to the point of no return. October the 20th, 1994, I am wheeled into theatre in Wellington Hospital for a 4-hour kidney transplant operation. 17-year-old Richard didn't quite understand the implications of having immunosuppression and anti-rejection drugs for the last almost 30 years. Since 1994, 110,000 anti-rejection drugs, over 600 blood tests, visited at least 100 specialists, and been in and out of hospital maybe 30 times. What I did understand, and the choice I made, was to hit life hard. No stone unturned, no challenge turned down. So ages 18 to 37, not a lot happened really, right? Like I was relatively healthy. What I did do was enter the world of radio, where I had exceedingly high expectations of myself. I wanted to be the best, and I won radio awards to prove it. Here's the thing. I drove myself relentlessly, and I pushed some people away because of my drive to be the best. Everything was going along quite nicely till 2013 when things came to a head, and I looked in the mirror and I saw an arsehole staring back at me. So I did some reflecting. I made the choice to get better. I engaged a psychologist. In 2014, I left radio after chatting to the psychologist. It was making me unhappy. I joined the gym. I lost weight. I went from 88 kgs to 70. 2015, I met a wahine. Life was choice. June 2015, I find a lump on my tongue. Long story short, I left it because I'm immunocompromised, so things take longer to heal. And the GP at the time said to me, it's an ulcer. It wasn't an ulcer, it was cancer. Whack! Another curveball. I was determined to smash it out of the park again. Now bear in mind how important this piece was to me. Because even though I'd left radio, I was still emceeing, I was still in demand. And this piece of gold had got me the equivalent of 58,000 paid hours. And they're about to lop half of it off. December the 9th, 2015, I walked down the hallway to theatre with the anaesthetist Peter. He's like, it's all good, 7 to 9 days in hospital. It will be a walk in the park. Turns out, it wasn't. It's 3.5 weeks in hospital, 11 days in induced coma. 1 collapsed lung, pneumonia, closer to dying than I realised. And if you thought that was bad, I haven't even told you about the hair on my tongue, which is still growing. 2016, after rehab and radiotherapy, I find another lot of cancer in my thyroid. Starting to panic a little bit now, whānau, because it's slowly moving down my body. Cutting my tongue out, quite possibly, could have been the end. But it was just the beginning. I found comedy, which allowed me to scratch the itch that radio and MC work had allowed me to do earlier. I'd travel up and down our motu, from Pōneti in the south to Tamaki Makaurau in the north, trying to be funny. In 2015, when I met my wahine, I brought a cat into the relationship. She brought 2 kids. For the last decade, I have learned what it's like to be a parent. I tell you what, sometimes cancer is far easier. So how have I thrived? I am overly optimistic. The glass is overflowing. I look for every opportunity and I take it, no matter how uncomfortable. I've got a really good group of people around me. We are tight. We are authentic. If something isn't working, we ask why, and we help each other out. I've cut away the deadwood. You know, those people that would toss you off the cliff so they can catch you at the bottom, so they can tell you how wonderful they are. I know my triggers. If I'm tired or I don't get enough exercise, I become just a little bit cantankerous. I take time in soul activities, photography, music, poetry. It helps keep me grounded. So how do you build resilience? Look for small, doable goals. Hit the 10K mark, whether it be running, cycling, or maybe savings. If cleaning the skirting boards once a month is your jam, man, fill your boots. Book that family hikoi to Hokitika or Hawaii. At times I got so caught up in thinking about dying, I forgot about living. Look, we have to do the mundane. We do. It's the nature of life. So look for the light. Make the choice to look for the light. Give me a challenge. I will accept it. I will grow. I will adapt. I will survive, then thrive. Kia ora.